All right. Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Viking Central podcast. Kind of a special, more unique episode of the Viking Central podcast. I have with me my very first in person couch side guest, if you will, a friend of mine, Jarrod Simek. So I just want to welcome him to the show. Jarrod, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I like the setup. I like the creativity, kind of expanding the Viking Central package. So happy to be here and happy to talk Vikings.
It's a different kind of setup, and hopefully we get to do this more, especially if I can bring on whether it be some of my friends or maybe it be some other individuals that unfortunately maybe root for some other teams that I can bring on here during game week, if you will, and kind of get their perspective as a fan too. So it's something I want to integrate a little bit more. But having Jarrod on the show, it's kind of an international flavor that we have for you today. And with Jarrod's experience that he has with his job and his family actually being overseas, and I'll let him talk about that a little bit. But we're actually going to go back to last spring in April 11th through 13th. It was kind of a different flavor that you saw, but in April 2025, there was an International Federation of Flag Football Ghana event that the NFL was partnered with. And we had 3 Minnesota Vikings that actually ended up going over to Ghana. And Jarrod's family actually had the opportunity to be there at the event and meet some of the players. So I'll let Jarrod talk a little bit about that. You'll see some of the pictures that Jarrod and his family were able to share with me and with you from that event. So I'll let Jarrod talk a little bit about what his family experienced.
Yeah, so we were fortunate enough with our being in the military to have an assignment over in Ghana, West Africa. I actually had to look on the map exactly where that was when we first got that assignment. But this year, unique opportunity. The Vikings sent, like you said, 3 players over there to essentially do it was a tryout actually for the Ghana national football team for the Olympics, because the Olympics are coming to, or flag football is coming to the Olympics this year, or in 2028.
In LA.
In LA. So that's why they were over there to kind of doing some tryouts. They were doing some community outreach. And ex-Viking, Brian Asamoah, has a foundation over there called Be Authentic. So he was over there raising some money, spreading awareness, and they were out there meeting tons of players. I think there was over like 300 people that showed up for tryouts. So it was a great experience.
So we know that Brian Asamoah, he's from Ghana. We also know that our GM, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, is also from Ghana. Does he have any kind of outreach or extension that he's reached? Now, he specifically is not from Ghana. He was actually born in the United States, but his parents were born in Ghana.
Yeah.
So does he have any outreach type stuff, or does he ever make any appearance back in Ghana?
So when we were there, we didn't see Kwesi show up at all. Yeah. Born in the States, but his family was from there. So first generation, essentially, he is.
Sure.
So Mensah, it's one of the most popular surnames or last names over there in Ghana. So very popular guy. He's talked about a lot. And I think that brought a lot of excitement to Ghana as far as the community and the people, as far as the National Football League goes. So when the Vikings came over, this was a huge deal. It was like just these amazing mega superstars coming over to visit. So it was quite the scene to see.
I pulled up one of the pictures, and it has your beautiful family, your wife and your 2 kids up there. And it looks like they're taking a picture with Jordan Addison and Aaron Jones.
Yeah. So a good friend of mine who may or may not work for the Vikings, actually also a Ghana native, kind of gave me a heads up like, hey, guys are in town. Are you still over there? I was actually back in the States, so unfortunately I couldn't make it, but I got on the phone as quick as possible and gave the family a heads up. And this was at one of the local pitches, or what we would call a football field. They call football, we call soccer. So yeah, it was really cool.
How many people attended this event?
So it was actually kind of a private setting. It wasn't really open to the public.
So was it hard for you and your family to get access to this?
Not really, because we kind of got put on the list.
Okay.
And kind of their handlers met them. And then there's a bunch of people in the background there. They're the ones doing all the drills and the tryouts. So they're kind of helping coach them and run through some things. But they were awesome, super down to earth. I'd say they were both just great. I'm not sure where Brian is on this one, but easy to talk to, open. I think they talked for almost 30 minutes with them, and they were. And my son or my daughter is more of a bigger Vikings fan, so he was just cloud nine.
Now, looks like also got a football signing opportunity as well.
We did. So we actually had this guy right here. Family brought it down, got it signed by all three of them. Jordan Addison was great talking to my son. My son was playing flag football over there for a team as well. So
you got some different signatures. So who all signed it? All three of them?
All three, yeah. So Brian Asamoah, of course, took the largest chunk of the ball. And then Jones and Addison on the backside. So pretty cool memento and a really cool memory for the family over there for that.
Now, if any of you have questions throughout this interview or when we get into more of the international game type questions, and we'll actually get into a little bit of Cleveland Vikings this weekend, go ahead and make sure if you're following us on Facebook, YouTube, or X, make sure to drop a comment. We'll pull up your question. We'll ask either Jarrod, or if it's something that I can answer for you, we'll go ahead and do that. So go ahead and fire away on some of those questions that you may have, and we'll be happy to answer those. So make sure that you're asking questions, and if you're not already following us, like us on our social media. Follow us on those three that I mentioned, also our TikTok, and if you're not already reading our articles on Substack, please make sure that you do so. So I'll go back to this photo that you had. Was it just the signature? Did your family get to talk at all with any of the players?
Yeah. So all of the above. Actually, they just got done throwing some passes. Gavin got to throw some routes to Jordan. So how cool is that?
Yeah. How many people could say that, right?
So I'm like, dude, send me pictures, like send me something.
Now you weren't there.
I wasn't there. So super jealous, a lot of FOMO, but super happy that they got to experience that. And then Aaron Jones actually was an Army brat growing up. So he had kind of bounced around the world. So it was nothing new for him to travel. He kind of shared some of his stories, kind of being an Army brat with my wife, and they kind of connected at that level too. So just really down to earth, like super human people that, people say don't meet your heroes, but these guys were awesome.
Well, thank you for you and your wife in your amazing service to our country.
I appreciate it. Thanks for your support.
So the other thing I want to mention with both Jarrod and your wife, Beth, you guys also had the opportunity, and maybe with your kids as well, to travel and see some international games. But when we talk about Ghana, before I get away with and move on to Europe, I should slow down a little bit. But what's it like living in Ghana for you and your family?
So
what was that like?
Very eye-opening. I'd say for West Africa, Ghana is probably, we call it Ghana 101. One, they speak English. It's easy to get to, like a direct flight from JFK in New York, and then it's actually really, really safe. So I think there's about 400 million people in the area, so a little different than what we're used to in North Dakota, I'd say. But we were there almost 5 years, and just talk about, especially for the kids, to just mature on such an international level, from the schools they went to all the different countries that were represented. So it was really cool. And then also being in the military, we worked a lot at the U.S. Embassy there. So we worked a lot with State Department and other agencies we typically don't work with. So that was really cool in itself as well. But a beautiful country, very humble people. And I would say some of the nicest beaches I've been to. It's not on everyone's bingo card to go to West Africa on vacation, but if you're looking for an adventure, I would check it out.
So what about like their national sport obviously is soccer.
Yep.
As we would call it, or football for them.
Yeah.
But for American football, is there a lot of opportunities to be able to watch, for you and your family being Vikings fans?
Yeah.
Were you able to see games often? Or
so I would say football in general, American football has just exploded on the international scene. to include Ghana. We kind of talked about the Vikings connection over there with some of the players. So that really, I would say, sped a lot of that up. So locals to other people that didn't watch football were really getting into it over there. So I was starting to see NFL jerseys left and right that you normally wouldn't see. When we first went over there, that was the big question. My son's like, how do we watch football games? I was like, that's a great question. Because, we're married to it. We're like Vikings fans through and through. So we help work it out. You got to have a good VPN. You do like Game Pass, I think that is called, that we worked out. The only issue was, though, games were 5 hours later in the day. Right. So a noon game was either a 5 or a 6 o'clock game at night.
Now, you had a photo that you were able to share with me as well, too. Sorry, it was not this one. I need to take away this one. This one.
Yep.
So it looks like you had some other different football fans with you as well while you were over there in Ghana. So you got the opportunity to watch. I think is this from a Super Bowl?
This was from the Super Bowl this year. There was a local brewery that was actually hosting a live NFL on-site spot. So, like, I don't know if you guys remember from the Super Bowl, but there was a commercial that actually highlighted Ghana.
Okay.
Yeah, and they did like a live spot. They're like, we don't want you Americans in this. We want to capture the people. So we got to watch that. That was really cool, and everyone was fired up. But I have some good friends here that were over there. We, just like we're Vikings fans, there's a mix of other fans. Got my good buddies there, Bills fan. We had a Chiefs fan, and then one of those pesky Eagles fans next to him. So I think, was that the year they won?
Now,
I think they won the year.
Now, I don't know all the Ghanaians that may be in the NFL, but because of Brian Asamoah being a Viking, because of Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, is there a lot of Viking fans or people that follow the Vikings in Ghana if they do follow American football?
Yeah, so people come up to me all the time if they knew I was a Vikings fan.
Okay.
And first thing they'd ask is like, one, when are you going to bring me to a game in the States? I'm like, I'll work on that. And then 2, how do I watch it? Okay. So, and then 3, and then how do I get a jersey and stuff like that? So, like I said, I'd say from when I first got there towards the end of my tour, I was starting to see more purple in the crowd. So that was really cool to see.
Awesome.
Yeah.
The next topic I want to get on is basically what your NFL international game experience, what type of opportunities you said you had mentioned that you had some games that you were able to go to.
Yep.
Was that something that you went with friends, with your wife, with your family?
So again, kind of going back to how do we watch football games?
Sure.
Because my son's like, well, because we'd get to probably 2, maybe 3 games if we're lucky while we're back home. So he was kind of bummed out that we're going to be way overseas. And I was like, well, they have international games.
Sure.
Maybe we'll get lucky and we'll get one. We got 2 because the Vikings were in London in 22 and 24. So we took full advantage of that, and we made sure we got to that. So actually went to both of those with my family, the London game, and then headed out to Munich, Germany with a group of friends to the Bucks and Seahawks game that we almost went to.
Now, I don't know if you caught it. So last week we actually had Cam Dantzler Sr. on.
Yeah.
And so not even a week ago this weekend, but we talked to Cam because Cam was actually in that game in 22 against the Saints. But so in that game, he had talked about what the just what the feeling was like being in that stadium. He also talked about like the preparation as far as it's a different experience for them as a players being at the game or even just leading up to the game. So how do so if you go to a game in Minneapolis and you're going to go to US Bank Stadium, it's game day, you see everyone's a purple, but you really don't until you get to the tailgating area to the stadium. Now for the international, because they don't get so many games, it's almost like celebrated through the city.
It is.
In the airports is what we're seeing all throughout when it's leading up to a game.
Yeah, it's a production, and it's not just game day. There's activities starting all the way back to Wednesday leading up to the game.
So it's almost like a mini Super Bowl.
It is
for them.
Yeah, and that's kind of how they treat it. And kind of the fun part in the game we'd always play when we were there was how many jerseys can we see? And I think almost every time, each 3 times I was at a game, I counted 32 different jerseys.
Wow.
So it's exploding. I'm not sure how Dublin was, but I'm sure it was pretty familiar to London. But it was great. And the other thing, too, is Tottenham Stadium, where they're playing this weekend, is where we went to the games as well. It's north of London. So just getting out of the city out there that was fun itself. Just talking to all the fans, excitement, getting on the tube and the walk out there. And it was kind of almost like a Green Bay Lambeau vibe because you're in this small neighborhood.
Now, this stadium in the picture that I pulled up, now, is this at Tottenham?
This is Tottenham in 22.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where the Hotspurs play. That's the local league there. Yeah.
Now, when you went to this game, so what I've kind of read up on is, a lot of Americans travel over to go see these games. But how big is the mix as far as locals to people Americans that travel to come see these games?
Yeah. So one, the tickets are hard to come by. So if you are trying to get to a game, you really got to get ahead of it, try to plan, look at different packages and stuff. That's kind of what we did. The Vikings fans travel really well. I'd say for almost every spot we went to, as far as tailgating and pre-gaming and all that fun stuff, that I'd say is probably almost a 50-50 mix with locals and Americans at these games. So super cool that the Vikings fans travel that well.
And I don't know if you have anything to add on this. You had another picture of just you and your family. Now, is this a vehicle for somebody that, obviously it seems like somebody that lives over there was that passionate about the Vikings that was willing to paint their vehicle Viking colors?
Yeah, so this is actually a common car. It's the London black cab that you see everywhere. So with taxis and stuff, that's typically what you see running around London. So a lot of those and the double-decker buses you'll see running around that were all painted out and looking like that.
So, I mean, you talked about, going to these games and it being like a production to where it's a multi-day leading up to it, starting on Wednesday, going up till game day.
Yep.
So, if you're going to one of these games, and I don't know if you experienced stuff like this in London, but big productions, a lot of things to do. So you're not just doing touristy stuff. It's great because you can kind of plan to go there for the game, but you can really take a vacation with your family at the same time. But then there's other stuff that they're doing that's revolving around the NFL or the Vikings, because that's one of, if you're going to a Vikings game, that is, London is, in the UK is one of the Vikings partner countries,
right?
That they kind of have territory with,
right? It's a marathon. You can make a whole week out of it if you really wanted to. They identify a pub for each team, so that's kind of like the base. So that's kind of where everything centers around, and then they'll have different things from like Hall of Famers coming by. I think the year we were there in 22, Randy Moss, Chris Carter were there doing interviews. You can go out there and kick field goals and do all that fun stuff. So ton of activities. So yeah, it was a blast. And if you're a Vikings fan and you get the opportunity to go, you got to check it out.
So, and you've kind of mentioned some of this already, but if I was a fan and I'm looking to attend an overseas game, what should I expect as far as, you talked about the scarcity in the tickets. So ticket prices, we already know that, scarcity, but, ticket prices compared to going to a game at US Bank Stadium.
Yeah.
I mean, are we talking an average ticket price of, let's just say US Bank Stadium around 300, 250, 300. What are we talking internationally?
Yeah. I think, just being honest, you're going to be in that 500 range, I think, to stay competitive.
Okay.
The problem is, so they only have so many tickets, Ticketmaster and all that stuff that sells them. There's actually a queue that you get in, and that's not to like get a ticket. That's just to get in the line. So when they go on sale, they sell out, I'd say, within 2 hours. So if you're not in that queue, you might miss out. So we literally, like, there was 5 of us when we went to Germany, sitting in front of our computers when it said like queue, like we all got in. We didn't get a ticket through Ticketmaster, so we had to find a different route.
Now, say if I wanted to, and I think I would probably do this if I did go there with my wife and kids. If I'm looking to take a vacation and I would like to catch a Vikings game, I need to not only find out the schedule early, but I need to plan my vacation somewhat around going to the game, but I need to be flexible in there.
Yeah.
Now for going to the game, as far as transportation, we know that can be tough depending on where you're going. Now you said you've been to London. You've also been to Germany as well.
Correct.
For a game.
Yeah.
Transportation. What kind of considerations and time do you need to consider, in getting around to the games?
Yeah. So you got to, if you think you're going to be early, go earlier. That's kind of a big thing because you're not going to drive, one. So you're either in London, you're taking the tube or the rail and stuff like that. Germany, it's the Bahnhof or the train station.
Sure.
So you got to do that. You're going to be fighting crowds. You're going to be doing that fun, but that's kind of part of the adventure. So I think like the London games and like the international games started at like 3 in the afternoon. I mean, we were heading down there at 10 in the morning to get to some, especially if you want to get some merch, get into the NFL store, because they have some unique and exclusive merch that you won't see back here stateside at the games.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, so I go to the game. After that, say I want to go to, hang out at, an after party, hangout spot, restaurant, bar, whatever it may be. Plenty of spots that are geared towards that game, I'm guessing, as well.
Absolutely.
Being it's a Super Bowl setting.
Yeah.
So even if I did get a ticket to the game and I just happened to be vacationing in the area, I could still take in all the different activities, and I could probably go and see all kinds of different settings where there are probably watch parties around inside the city if I wanted to go to. So it sounds like it's one heck of an event. Yes, can it be a little bit spendy if you're looking to try to get a ticket? But you're going to get a Super Bowl-esque type experience going to one of these games. Yes, it's a regular season game, but you're going to get all the different activities that you would normally see, and maybe even more than that.
Definitely more.
Over in Europe. So if you ever have the opportunity to go, or if you want to go, you definitely need to do some planning ahead of time to make sure that you kind of have your ducks in a row, save up for it, and then make sure that you plan your transportation, your hotels, all that good stuff to make sure that you have enough time to be able to do it.
Yeah. And I will finish with this. So it's kind of a funny story, not from my friend, but so we went to the Germany game. Again, we couldn't get our tickets online.
And this was in 24, right?
This was in 20. This is actually 22.
22.
So Allianz Stadium, Tom Brady, the Bucks, Seahawks. Went up there with a group of guys. Big Seahawks fan was with me. He has the worst luck getting in. Like he has these Super Bowl horror stories where he had tickets or thought he did, and didn't get to go to the Super Bowl to watch the Seahawks. We went in through the gate, scanned the ticket, nothing. They're like, it doesn't work. So we were at 3 games, but only saw 2, if that makes sense.
So what did you do? Being that you couldn't get into that game, did you go to one of those watch parties?
We did, and we maybe even had more fun, and just in that kind of where there you're not in a pub, you're in a beer hall in Germany, and it was just as fun. And you're there talking with all these people, young, old, just super inquisitive about American football, and it's fun because they'll be like, what's that rule or what's that call mean? So you're kind of doing some education in the process too.
So do you think, what's your feeling on what Europeans, whether it be in the UK, Germany, what do you think their feeling is about American football when they're watching it? Yes, of course, they love, football, soccer, as we would call it, but how do they feel about American football when they're actually seeing the product or at these watch parties and you're getting to interact with them? Do they like the product?
They love it. One, it's just a different type of people. Europe, I feel, is just a little more easy. There's not as much tension when it's just 2 teams, 2 fans going at it. So that's kind of a cool vibe. But again, like I said, they were very inquisitive, asking questions about like the rules and some of that. So it was kind of neat to kind of educate some of these guys on that environment. But if they're at the game or not, they're just having fun. They love live sports, concerts, stuff like that. So just to be able to participate in something that doesn't come around very often is they take full advantage of.
Sure. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to move on to the Vikings Cleveland game coming up. But I do just want to give you an update on the current Thursday night football game. So if for some reason you're watching this right now and you're going back and forth, or you have the Thursday night football game going on, or you want an update, spoiler alert, I'm about to give you an update. So right now, San Francisco, they're missing Brock Purdy. They're missing George Kittle. They're missing Ricky Pearsall. They're missing Juwan Jennings. They're missing Brandon Ayuk. They're winning this game against the Los Angeles Rams right now, 20-14, and it's in the fourth quarter. So there's a little over 12 minutes to go, and they're up 20-14. Mac Jones has 2 touchdowns in this game. He's thrown for 230 yards, and that's with Christian McCaffrey not having a great running game. So that's pretty wild. Anyways, Kendrick Bourne, who they just signed from the Patriots because he was kind of a castaway, if you will, from the Patriots. He comes into San Francisco, and now he's thrust into a wide receiver 1 spot when he wasn't even a starter or should be on paper. He's now a wide receiver 1. He has 105 yards receiving in this game. And again, Mac Jones throwing the ball. Now, Christian McCaffrey is doing things on the receiving end. He's got 44 yards receiving, and he's got a receiving touchdown as well. But, you know, the story of this game is really just the missing offensive weapons that San Francisco just doesn't have. They're really depleted on the offensive side of the ball, going against a really good defense. This is a good defense, but they're making it happen. And, I think I'm only seeing 1 turnover in this game, 1 fumble by Matt Stafford. So it's not like it's been a crazy turnover type game. A fumble by Matt Stafford. He hasn't thrown any interceptions. So, yeah, just really crazy stuff. And if you follow me on the Fantasy 15, by the way, my number 1 wide receiver was Puka Nacua. He does have 8 receptions for 65 yards, and he does have a touchdown. So he is getting his. Just wanted to mention that. So I'll get back into Vikings-Browns. We're going to talk about that game. And thanks for joining us over on YouTube. I do see you there, Clinton. Clinton says, Skol. Appreciate it. Showing us the love. If you have any questions throughout this, again, we can always come back to the international and the experiences that Jarrod had. We're going to go ahead and also jump into this weekend's game. Now, the first thing I want to talk about with this game is the injury report. Pretty significant stuff, especially from the Vikings. We've basically been a field hospital out there. Injuries all the time. We haven't had a single game where we've had our starting offensive line all play together on the same field. So we had multiple injuries that happened in our last game against the Steelers. And because of that, you got to see what happens when TJ Watt is going against backups. He got it even in an interception that ended up being a really costly one for us as well. But we're not getting any help anytime soon in the form of all these different offensive linemen coming back from what we're seeing so far. So taking a look at, and I do need to pull this other one down. This is the current injury report that we're seeing this week. So this is updated as of today with practices for Wednesday and Thursday. There's not much of a change between these two. Now, we did see Matt Waletzko from Dallas get signed by the Vikings, and he's probably flying overseas. But what we are seeing in practice is, again, we have Christian Darrisaw. Yes, he's not practicing, but it's a rest. So it's not injury related. He's just getting rest. So no worries there. Christian Darrisaw will be there. At left guard, we're still missing Donovan Jackson. So what that means at left guard is we're most likely going to see a combination, from what we're hearing, of Joe Huber maybe starting at that left guard position. At center, man, we went through it twice on last week's game. Ryan Kelly ended up getting another concussion, his second of the year and fifth in his career. So at center, Ryan Kelly is out. And then we're also seeing that Michael Jurgens got injured at the end of that game too, who came in relief for Ryan Kelly. But now he is injured. Now he could possibly make a return yet. We'll see what happens tomorrow and what kind of update we get. Maybe he ends up being some kind of game time, but that's not what we're leaning towards. What the Vikings are leaning towards is most likely trying to have someone come in there and do that. Now, they had a pretty healthy rotation. I think I posted it earlier of about 4 players that they were kind of rotating in the center spot. But on the depth chart and who they're leaning towards starting in that position is actually a surprise. It's Blake Brandel. So Blake Brandel is probably going to get his first NFL start at the center position here this weekend against a Cleveland defense. That's not exactly what we want to hear, but hopefully he is up to the job. He has had plenty of snaps in the past at center in practice. So that is something that we need to watch and kind of see where that goes. So now as we kind of take a look at that, okay, so let's just say that he's going to play there. So what happens at the right guard position? So right guard, now, again, we have different injuries that we have going on. Will Fries is the only one that's really been healthy the entire year. So we're good there at right guard. But then now if we're going to have Blake Brandel, who is a backup tackle for us, and also a backup guard, move to center, who is now going to replace Brian O'Neill, who got injured on the right tackle position? And it's looking like that individual is going to be none other than Walter Rouse. So Walter Rouse starting at that position too. So a depleted offensive line. I don't know how you feel about that, but going against Myles Garrett coming into a Cleveland game, it does look like Myles Garrett, who was on the Cleveland injury report, which we'll get to, it does look like he is going to play. This is going to be the biggest concern. This is going to be the biggest reason why the Vikings either win or lose, is can that offensive line hold up enough to not only help us in the run game, but also give Carson Wentz enough time to be able, whether it be quick routes or not, can they keep him clean enough to make enough big plays to get us in the scoring position?
Yeah, the field hospital's right. You were just listing out the 49ers injury. I don't know who has more. But yeah, disappointing. We probably won't get to see the original lineup O-line playing this year. So hopefully we can figure some of that out. Cleveland defense leads the league with an average of about 222 yards for allowed per game. So that concerns me with our O-line being soft. But I do think Mason will get a healthy amount of work. And I think we're going to see some more of those short routes in this just to protect us. So, I mean, Vegas probably has 4.5 sacks just for Myles Garrett on this game alone. So that's what concerns me.
Yeah, so and Myles Garrett is a beast. He absolutely is. Now, if we look at the rest of this injury report, I know there's been talk about J.J. McCarthy. He's not playing in this game. Most likely we will not see him until what's expected to be is the Eagles game after the bye week. So we have a bye week after this Cleveland game, get rested up, and then, hey, we're back in the States against the Eagles. It's not an ideal matchup. I get it, but J.J. McCarthy is the future franchise quarterback of this team. We have to see what we have in him. So he's only had 2 games out there. In the 2 games he did have out there, he didn't have Christian Darrisaw. He didn't have a healthy offensive line. We also had maybe good, healthy distractions, whatever you want to call it. He had a kid,
Yeah.
So he didn't get the full week of practice, and I don't want to give him that kind of an alibi on it, but the kid's a rookie. There's going to be growing pains with it, but regardless, not having the full health of this team, we do have to see what we have in JJ McCarthy, and we're never going to have the opportunity to have, and I'm not comparing the two, but having our Drake May, to have our Patrick Mahomes, to where you actually grow a quarterback through the draft, surround them with good players, and see what they can become and possibly make a run. We're never going to be able to do that if we're going to give up this early on a young quarterback. It's just way too early. We saw a news article come out from the New York Times, basically The Athletic, that basically talked about, was the decision to let Sam Darnold go, was it a bad one? It's too early to make that determination of whether or not that was the right decision or not.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold did amazing last year, but there were concerns on, especially with the way that we ended the last two games. So you can say, okay, yeah, well, that was too soon to give up on Sam Darnold as well, too, when the product looked good. It's just too early to say, hey, did they make the right decision or not? We're all happy, at least coming into the season on paper, with all the different players that we put around JJ McCarthy and put on this team and improve this defense.
Yeah.
With Sam Darnold, we're not able to do that.
Yeah. And the shoulda, coulda, woulda, we can play that game all day.
Absolutely.
Sam Darnold is actually putting up amazing numbers right now. I think he's like number one in a few different categories. But I agree 100% that we invested in JJ McCarthy, the highest draft pick for a quarterback in the history of the team. What does concern me, though, and it's not just the Eagles, it's a gauntlet of games.
Right.
Like 4 of them, I think. So
Lions, Ravens.
Yeah. So he's
Chargers.
He's like, if he doesn't perform coming out of those 4 games, what's the opinion going to be then for JJ McCarthy? Are we going to be like, hey, this guy's a bust? Or is it because the line is busted? I don't know. That concerns me too. And just keeping him healthy during that stretch of 4 games too. Will he be a punching bag, or should Wentz be in there taking those hits and protect our investment? I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's tough, but I mean, he's going to have to show that he's got the ability to win those games too.
Yeah.
So, and let's just say that we decide to play Wentz in those games, and let's just say he goes 2-2 or ekes out a win, and it's a tough stretch for any quarterback,
right,
to go through and expect them to win all 4 games. It'd be great if we can somehow split
right
2 of those games coming through that 4-game stretch
right.
of Eagles, Chargers, Ravens, and Lions. If we get 2 games out of there, that's a total win in the toughest part of our schedule. But to think that if Carson comes out of there with 2 wins, then there's going to be the argument, well, if we win at Cleveland, and now we got 5 wins, 4 losses, and now we're through the toughest part of our schedule.
Right.
Let's make a run at Carson. Now, if he was playing, if we had a healthy offensive line and he was playing lights out football, I'm willing to have that conversation.
Absolutely.
And I just think we're not there yet, and we'll see what happens in the Cleveland game. But for now, I think the path should just be get him healthy, and let's get him back out there on the field. If he goes out there on the field, and again, games that we may not win already, he goes out there and lays a complete egg in 2, 3, 4 of the games, you have the opportunity to go back to Carson anyways. Right. That's just kind of how I feel with that. And then if we see that, hey, he's just not ready and he needs more time to develop, we can go ahead and do that.
Right.
Moving on to some more of these injuries, Andrew Van Ginkel, which is a tough one for us.
Yeah.
Him being out really does hurt us. Yes, Dallas Turner is going to have to step up again in this game, but that's tough. Missing him, hopefully after a bye week with that whole neck situation, we can get him healthy back for the Eagles game. Urasek, he is do not practice right now too, so Tyler Batty is actually coming off the IR, him and CJ Ham. So they were both full practices. They're both eligible to return and could possibly be playing in this game. Xavier Scott is actually looking like he will be okay in playing. Now, Dallas Turner was on there because of the illness. He is also expected to play. Let's move on to the Browns. Now, when we check out the Browns injury report, the big thing on here is for who didn't practice or who's not expected to play. What could hurt them, um, could be where is he? Um, sorry, Greg Newsome the second. So he's one where he just recently had a hamstring injury. Now he was limited in practice on Thursday. Now that's one of those injuries where you may not just like bounce back like that and be back in the game. Now if they don't have Greg Newsome the second, who's basically opposite of Denzel Ward for the Browns, that's huge. Greg Newsome is an awesome cornerback. They're the best tandem probably right now in the league. Now, at corner, not having Greg Newsome, what does that mean? That means that maybe you either have Justin Jefferson or you have Addison going against maybe a lesser corner situation there too. Now they're already looking to try to have a double team set on over the top with shell coverage on Justin Jefferson on almost every play that he has. Grant Delpit has talked about which he is expected to play as well. I see him on there, but he has talked about what he needs to do, basically trying to lock down Justin Jefferson as well from the safety perspective. Him and Denzel Ward are probably going to get that assignment for most of the game on him. David Njoku was on there, but again, I expect him to play in this game. Really the big ones that I would look towards possibly not playing is that does their defensive tackle Mike Hall that's on there, and Malik Collins are the ones that possibly I would look to make sure that they're good to go. But it sounds like Malik Collins is not injury related, even though he was on the report, so he should be good to go. And like I said, Myles Garrett is expected to play in this game, even though he was listed as having that injury as well.
He's licking his chops.
He is licking his chops, and this is one of these games. And you talked about that over under as far as sacks for him. This is one of those games especially when sometimes your career or your season or your salary for future contracts is based off of your performance with sacks and how you're measured. This is one of those games where he's thinking, I can have a record sack day.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say when these two teams face off for injuries. That's one of the biggest things that I would say between these two teams that I would be concerned about when we get into week 5, talking about Browns and, of course, the Vikings. And you need to make sure that you're setting your alarms. Again, remember that this is an early game, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, so 8:30 for most of us that are living out in the cornfield states here in Central time. So 8:30 a.m., make sure that you're up for it. We will have, we're planning on having our Vikings-Browns pregame show on Saturday, which will be a little bit more in-depth on this game, but just other things and feelings about the game. How are you feeling going into the Browns-Vikings game, and what do you kind of see as some of the keys from your point of view?
I think we rebound from last week. I feel that's our trend. I feel like we'll fall on our face and then we clean it up and then we execute. So I think we'll come out good. We got to get the third down conversions. We got to be better at that. We got to clean that up. The O-line uncertainty is what concerns me the most on that, just staying healthy and just being able to get those quick passes out and time that stuff. I think he was holding the ball on average of three and a half seconds, which is just too long with that beat up O-line. And then of course, just trying to take care of Myles Garrett. I don't know what we do there, if we just got to put more bodies on him or what we do there. And then I think committing to the run more. I feel like KOC will get hot and then he'll start passing. So I know some of the play calling has come into question with some of the stuff we've done in the past. So he'll kind of talk about that in the press conferences on trying to clean that up too. And then just with B-Flow, I think it's going to be a defensive grind on both balls. I think it's going to be a low scoring affair. But I'm confident we're going to come out. I have a 17-10 Vikings.
So the Browns have scored roughly around 10 to 14 points in all of their games this season. That's kind of where they're averaging, for offense with Joe Flacco as a quarterback.
Yeah.
So now they're bringing in Dylan Gabriel. And again, his career at Oregon, he likes to run the ball. We saw what kind of lack of success, if you could say, that we had when Caleb Williams took off on our defense.
Right.
So, and I do see Dylan Gabriel having one of those games where he's going to want to run a lot. So we're going to have to make sure that we're containing him, that we either have a spy on him or whatever it may be. He has the potential to turn a quarterback run into a 60-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
So, for that aspect, we haven't really seen him play. So you don't have a whole lot of NFL game tape on him as far as how to play him. So I think that is an advantage variable that could be seen favoring the Browns. Now, you can say, hey, we're facing a rookie quarterback. It's his first NFL start. He's going against a Brian Flores defense, and I have said that as well. But just hear me out. The one thing I'm concerned about is Dylan Gabriel taking advantage maybe of what has been a lack of our defense's ability to corral scrambling quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So if we have that going on with Dylan Gabriel and he's picking up first downs that maybe, they could be 3rd and long situations or 3rd and 5 and more, and he's now able to pick those up with his feet because we're not able to contain him when the pocket breaks down, because they are hurting at receiver. They just lost Cedric Tillman as well going into this game. Yeah. So Jerry Jeudy is their guy.
Yeah.
Njoku should be back in this game. So his key target's going to be Njoku, Jeudy, and maybe Harold Fannin Jr. in this game.
Right. Yeah. Did you know Gabriel is the 41st starting quarterback for the Browns since 1999? Isn't that wild?
It's a lot. I mean, we're not quite in Browns territory as far as how many starting quarterbacks the Vikings have had, but I mean, we've racked up our fair share as well too.
Yeah, we're not innocent either, but that's a lot.
And we have on our defensive side of the ball with Charlie Fry.
Right.
Charlie Fry is one of those former 42 quarterbacks that the Cleveland Browns have had in their historic career of going through quarterbacks. But so no one knows any more about that than probably our own Charlie Fry.
Yeah.
But going into this game, that's just one of the things that, we talk so much about, because it is our biggest weakness that's really glaring right now, is the injuries that we have on the offensive line. Just something to consider is, I do think that there is cause for concern that we just need to not overlook the ability to run the ball that exists with Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah. And I think too, definitely containing Gabriel, having a spy of that sort. But the elephant in the room, though, and this can be a distraction for teams too, is the whole Shedeur Sanders not starting over him. And there's some of that going on too. So I wonder if that plays a role in that locker room as far as the team chemistry goes.
I think after seeing a lot of Joe Flacco and you're losing ball games, you won against the Packers, but losing ball games because of, hey, the defense is doing their part and the offense isn't. I think that's deflating. So seeing at least an injection of something different,
hope,
could be good. You see comments from Jerry Jeudy talking about, hey, Dylan Gabriel, he knows who to throw the ball to. I kind of see it as a jab at Joe Flacco.
For sure.
That, and obviously Jerry Jeudy wasn't getting the targets, but when you hear that, that seems to me that he is almost signaling that, hey, young man, throw me the ball, or, hey, Dylan's already talked to me. He's going to get me the ball. One of the things that he talked about is Dylan Gabriel had talked about he wants to make Jerry Jeudy the Justin Jefferson of Cleveland Browns. Now, one, that's kind of laughable because Jerry Jeudy has not been what he's been advertised since he's came into the league. He has not lived up to any of that. But what he's basically trying to say is he wants Jerry Jeudy to be moved around on the football field and basically take advantage of different matchups that favor Jerry Jeudy so he can get him the ball and get him the touches to make plays.
Do you think Joe Flacco played his last game as a starter in the National Football League?
I kind of hope so. Last year, Joe Flacco looked good.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco had games where it's just like, man, he still has the ability to be a factor and win some games. And towards the end of his career with Baltimore, I don't want to say he turned into a Trent Dilfer, but he turned into a game manager.
Yeah.
And when the Browns picked him up, even his time with the Colts, he showed that, hey, I have flickers of being able to win you games
right.
As a quarterback, not just being a game manager.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, but at this point, it looks like he has definitely regressed in his career, and I think it's just time, for him to hang up. Yeah. He's had a great career.
For sure.
He won a Super Bowl. Great career.
Yeah, probably a good backup quarterback going forward if teams need it.
Absolutely.
Xavier Scott, kind of a new name. Flashed a little bit last week. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing him getting maybe a little more action on Sunday as well. What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, so Xavier Scott is really impressive in the screen game. We had a couple opportunities last week where they got blown up because of our offensive line not being able to get out in their assignments, get in their lane assignments. So the screens got blown up.
Yep.
But when he gets the ball in space, he has the ability to make some cuts, and he likes contact.
Yes.
But he has the ability to really pick up some yards. So I love him in the screen game. And I think we're good now. So, one thing that I will say is I think that, in this game, and I apologize for the audio lose there, but one thing I would say is in this game, we just need to make sure that against the Browns, we don't lose focus, that we're going against a team that is a very defensive-minded team, and we don't make costly mistakes in the turnover game. That's really what cost us against the Steelers. So we need to make sure we're not making those same mistakes.
Right.
Because I lost some of my feed with the laptop and audio, I do want to make sure that I kind of end it here. But I do want to thank our guest that we had on today, Jarrod Simek. So thank you so much for your time, for sharing not only the incredible experiences that you and your family have had, whether it be in Ghana or the international game, but also joining us and sharing some of your Viking fandom and knowledge with the rest of us.
Yeah, happy to be here. Glad to see what you're doing. Great content. Looking forward to future stuff and coming back and visiting some more with you, and hopefully get the W on Sunday.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thanks so much for Viking Central. And I do want to make sure before I end it, I should also thank our sponsors. That's Badass Wood Art. Again, use that code VC15 to get 15% off. And then also SeatGeek. Use that code VikeCentral to receive $20 off any $50 or more purchase. That's good for any NFL tickets this season or any events or concerts that you want to go to. And then, of course, Homage. Go ahead and use that link or use that address, homage.sjv.io/Vikings, and get shirts like this that look great, feel great. And again, your friends might also like a few laughs when they see some of the stuff that you're able to get from their website as well too. So go ahead and use that code. Those are some of the ways that you can support us here at Viking Central. And again, sorry for the audio issues at the end, but for Viking Central, thanks, Jarrod. I'm Steve. This is Viking Central School. Go Vikings, and let's get a W on Sunday. Out here. Maybe. Might have to end it over here.